So once again, I'm going to share my screen and we will start our webinar, which is actually dedicated to something that we call Full Access Festival. And let's quickly go over what it is and how you guys can benefit out of this event, so to say. So within the months of May, we decided to give all our loyal customers full access to any advanced features that we have in YouScan, which is pretty, the list is pretty extensive. We're going to take a look at it today and during the next day on the May 9th, when I will have a second webinar. And so during this time, you can request from your manager an access to any additional feature that we called add-on, which could be either visual insights, audio insights, add-ons, APIs, whatever, and test it for free during the entire month and see whether this is something that can complement and help empower your monitoring activities. Your managers will be happy to give the access and set up the automations or any other settings that is necessary to make it happen, so to say. So feel free to write them an email or I don't know, post, even here, post something in the chat that you want to try certain functionality, or also contact our support chat in the product itself, right? So, and now let's move on. So during these two webinars, though the first one that we have right now here and the second one, which will happen on May 9th, we will cover all our add-ons that we have in the product. So here you can see the full list of the add-ons that we offer. It's visual insights, audio insights, audio monitoring, custom dashboards, smart tags, API, data sampling, and Insights Copilot, which is I am super excited about, and I'm sure you are as well. So today we will cover just three main features that are mainly dedicated to the coverage itself that can enrich your coverage, bring more results to your monitoring topics. And this is visual analytics, audience insights, and audio monitoring. So, and the second part, which I will present on the second webinar on Tuesday next week, we will talk more deeply about reporting systems, some automations like smart tags that can help you automate the process of the tagging or I know APIs, samplings, and etc. And of course, we will dive more deeply into our newly launched Insights Copilot, a ChatGPT powered AI assistant, which you probably already tested in your personal accounts, because currently everybody has the access to this tool and is able to give it a try and ask the system certain questions. But on Tuesday, we will dive a little bit deeper into the technology and into the prompts, how you can build your own customizable prompts and what to ask and how to ask the assistant to get better results. So if we're good to go, let's move to the first add-on that we will cover today, and it's visual analytics. Probably some of you previously saw this add-on, maybe you even tried it, some of you probably not. So I will go step by step with starting with the very, very basic things about this, this feature. And then slowly, one by one, I'll show you some more complicated examples and use cases, how you can utilize it. So basically, our visual analytics is sort of a complicated and complex tool, which analyzes images in a scope. So we are able to collect images by logos. We are able to collect images by OCR, which is optical character recognition. So which means we can recognize the scripts, I don't know, some words on the pictures, even handwritten in some cases. And the third part of this tool is actually the visual analytics itself, where we analyze what type of visual tags are present on the pictures. Let's say what people are doing or what type of objects are on certain pictures, like whether people are playing some sports or they are, I don't know, like painting, whether it's an illustration or it's a real photograph, right? So there is a plenty of objects and visual tags that our system is able to identify and analyze. And last but not least, I'll show you also certain like competitor analysis capabilities that we have within the Visual Insights. And from here, I'll dive right into the system and we'll go over like practical examples. Today, we will go over the pictures related to ChatGPT and any visual tags related to this topic. It's obvious that this topic is a lot about the text itself, but still there is a plenty of interesting insights that we can get through the Visual Insights. But before we begin, I want to show you a new approach of how you guys can add logos to your topics. So previously, you might remember that like previously when you were launching the topic and you wanted to add a certain logo, you would need to contact either support or your manager. Now you can do that from on your own. So no need to have any like third party person to help you with that. So let's imagine we want to create a query. Let's do ChatGPT and OpenAI. Let's narrow it down a little bit, like I don't know, for French only, because I need something smaller, which won't exceed millions. Yeah, that's quite good. Let's give it a name. And now once you hit next button, you'll get redirected to the page where you can set up the logo and the OCR. So in this case, I will also put ChatGPT in the text recognition window, and then I will configure the logo itself. So once you click on the configure logo button, you'll get a full list of all logos that is available in our database. It's pretty huge, I would say. Currently, I suppose it's already about like 1,000 of logos. So as you can see, it's huge. So you just need to search for a specific logo that you need. In our case, it's OpenAI. Yeah, this one, and just click apply. If by any chance, once you scroll through the database of the logos or you search for a specific logo and it does not appear in the system, don't worry about that. Just give the heads up to our support team in the chat and let us know that you would like to add certain logos into our database. Usually it takes up to like, I don't know, 1-2 days for our product team to teach the system, like to train the model to recognize new logos. And then within a few days, you'll be able to start the collection. So once we create the topic, the logos and pictures with the OCR will immediately start popping up in the topic along with regular mentions. So it's a little bit slow today, so I'm gonna go back and I will go to the topic that I already created for this purpose. And along with the topic creation, you now have an option even to like either add more logos in the existing topic or change the logo in the existing topic. For this purpose, you'll just need to go to settings, scroll down through this page and configure the logo here. For instance, if you click on it, you'll get the list of the logos again, and you can either disable all logos or add more logos if needed. And click apply once again. So I think that's pretty straightforward, right? And easy to do. And now let's take a look actually at where we will find this data that will be collected through the OCR and logo recognition and how we can analyze it. The first part of the tool that will change a little bit once you get the access to this add-on is the filters section. So once you click on the filters, if the Visual Insights add-on is enabled in your account, you'll get this tab here, which is called Visual. And once you go here, you'll see a huge list of visual attributes that you can filter through. So starting from very basic, like you can filter whether you need to like go through the illustrations or photographs, or you wanna, I don't know, like distinguish certain logos, certain objects, whatever. You can also combine, let's say you wanna see pictures with Google logo and Microsoft logo in the same picture, then I will just like choose those two filters and simply switch the Boolean operator from or to and. In this case, I'll get something like this. I'll get a picture where I have both Microsoft and Google logo in the same picture. If I would have like enabled other logos, I would have also Bing, OpenAI detected as well. So this is like the basic and easiest approach, right? This way you'll just get the sorted list of mentions where those logos are present on the pictures, right? But let's dive a little bit deeper into the Visual Insights tab here, which is specifically dedicated for the Visual Insights. And here you'll get more of an analytical part of the tool, right? And here you'll be able to see a lot of different stats related to the logos or other objects like activities, persons, objects, scenes, whatever. First, let's start with the gallery. So in the gallery, you have a chance, of course, to scroll through all media that are present in a topic. And let me show you something. So you might be wondering how you will distinguish logos from OCRs. Let's take a look at this example. So if you see something in a yellow square, in a yellow box, this is the mention that we picked up through the OCR. If you see something in the orange brackets or in the orange box, like this one, for instance, this mention is collected by the logo recognition. And what is important to mention is that this functionality gives us an option to collect even more mentions compared to the regular Boolean search. So for instance, let's imagine somebody is mentioning, not mentioning ChatGPT in the text in a regular post, right? So we won't be able to pick it up through the Boolean query, right? Because like there are no keywords in the mention. But for instance, on the picture or on the video pre-screen, like pre-shot, the very first, you know, like this, how do they call it? Like snapshot of the video. If we have a logo there that we configured in a topic, then we will be able to collect such mention even without any keywords in a post. So let's give it a very quick try to see how we can do that. So for instance, let's see. We have text recognition. In a text recognition, we have a ChatGPT, and we have a regular text collection, which is based on Booleans. And now let's disable this one. In this case, we'll get the media where ChatGPT were particularly not, let's do it like this, ChatGPT. Yeah, so let's see. I don't see any ChatGPTs here, but if I go on the picture, I will see the OCR ChatGPT collected visuals, right? So this is the exact way how we can broaden our search results and pick up even more mentions. This particularly works really, really well with videos where people don't really mention anything in a post description like TikTok or whatever, but they still talk about the ChatGPT in the video. And this, or YouTube, for instance, and this will give us like these results. It's gonna pull it into the topic. But let's dive into the analytics itself. So what is interesting here? So we have few tabs here that gives us the idea of what's generally happening on all media, on all pictures in a topic. Of course, we can filter them out and narrow it to a certain source or certain country, I don't know, like content type, whatever. But what's more important is the fact that you see all possible visuals and trends that are happening on the visuals. For instance, in the entire topic of ChatGPT, I can see that for some reason, there's a visual object finger popping up here. There is a huge amount of images here. And you might be wondering why. Me too, I was wondering why this particular object is like most trending, so to say, on the visuals, particularly in the ChatGPT topic. But once I clicked on it and I went to the gallery to see what are the like visuals, I understood that there is a bunch of like preview pictures of videos where people are pointing on something like, hey, look at this, look at that, or maybe they are like even here, or let's take a look, like this one, something about 5, or this one. And this is actually a very trending among pictures from TikTok and YouTube. So when people are creating, when let's say creators are making some educational videos or some short videos on TikTok related to AI, whatever, they really tend to point on something, on some sort of information. And that was actually very insightful. And it made me think of like, this could be something that content makers could benefit of. So this type of information can give them the understanding of what type of actions, objects, or scenes are bringing more attention among the audience compared to the others. And let me show you another example, which just blew my mind as well. Not really blew my mind, but it was really insightful. I've never I've never thought myself in this way. But when I change the visibility range here, because you can switch from less obvious objects to more apparent, I started to see something here, which is like a visual object of glasses. And I was also pretty surprised to see 6,000 images with like people wearing glasses on it. And once I clicked on it, again, I went to the gallery and I started to scroll through the gallery. I see, and you see as well, right? A bunch of people, again, creating some educational content on TikTok, YouTube, etc. And they do wear glasses. And that made me think of that maybe it's kind of I wouldn't say a trick, but it looks like this way people are trying to either bring more attention to their videos, or, you know, like maybe look a little bit smarter in the video, maybe like this. But really, this is the first time I've seen so many people wearing glasses, specifically in this particular topic, like for ChatGPT. If I would create a topic for, let's say, I don't know, sort of some brand, let's say fashion brand or FMCG brand, and if I will scroll through the TikTok videos and YouTube videos, I've never ever seen glasses, the object as glasses, that much popular in the other segment of videos, like let's say fashion or whatever. So that made me think also that this could be a good point for content makers to analyze and to understand, like, and to play even with the content creation in this way. So for instance, if I would create my own TikTok, I will give it a try to play with the fingers first and then try to use glasses. Maybe it somehow gives more boost to the videos. Let's move on. So yeah, and speaking about this part of the tool where you have the overview, you can disable certain objects or logos and work through objects, let's say, or you can work specifically through logos only to see like what type of logos are more frequently appearing among, not among, but along with OpenAI logo and generally the ChatGPT topic. And if we switch to engagement, which is the third tab here, we will see the distribution of the visual tags compared to amount of pictures and engagement. So again, if I disable everything that I don't need, just give me a second. I don't need this one here. So we will see something that gives even better understanding of what I've been talking previously. So as you can see, we have a bunch of different objects here, and this particular graph represents the amount of images we have within certain visual tag compared to the total engagement those pictures are overall giving, right? And as you can see, glasses again are on top. Like, yes, it has a lot of pictures, but also the engagement is pretty high. I mean, one of the highest, only the cosmetics and like some pictures was here. have the same amount of engagement. But let's say like computer hardware or smartphones, which could be like more closer. It seems that it's like more intuitive and closer to the topic of ChatGPT, some like tech stuff, but apparently it's not. So it's still glasses, some long hair. So people, the appearance, right, is important. And again, let's click, let's try with logos. Let's play with the logos a little bit, and we will see like what type of logos, again, are giving bigger engagement. In this case, it's, well, Nike. A lot of pictures where people are wearing Nike is getting engagement. Very nice. I wouldn't say I'm surprised. It's usually Nike is always on top, but still it gives sort of understanding. Or for instance, Microsoft is somewhere lower, Amazon, Samsung very low. So yeah, could give some understanding for people who are working in those fields. The next graph is the relation chart, which gives us the understanding of what type of visual tags are more frequently to appear on the same pictures together. So let's say we will mainly be seeing women sitting and smiling on some sort of furniture. But on the other hand, if we'll see like the biggest part of the pictures was men, they would be either like generally looking as the speaker or business person and so on. Sometimes it also creates very interesting insights, like you might find certain logos more frequently appearing to certain group of people or to the certain group of objects, and this specific graphs gives this understanding. And last but not least, here is the logo comparison, which is, I would say, one of the crucial tools here. I would switch to the other topic to represent this particular functionality. So this comparison tab gives us ability to compare appearance of several logos on the visual text. So for instance, I have a Pepsi case here, and I have their snacks, like most common snacks, Lay's, Cheetos, Doritos, and Fritos. So I have all these 4 logos enabled in my account, and I can play with the visual text. So I need to analyze, like, let's, for instance, imagine among what type of sports, pictures with sports, Lay's or Cheetos or Doritos are more frequently to appear compared to Fritos, let's say, right? And this graph will give me this understanding. For instance, let's say we have a sportwear, right? So we can see right away that on the pictures with the sportwear, we will mainly see Lay's because blue is the Lay's, right? And less obvious, less frequently appearing would be the rest of the snacks. However, let's say when we move to football players, the same, football the same, but supermarket, for instance, yeah, it's not a sport, but still, we see a little bit of like equality, I would say. Of course, Lay's still like on top, but we still see some presence of the other snacks as well compared to the, I don't know, like sportwear or, for instance, like players. And also, like, of course, these are the predefined visual tags, but you can play with them. You can change them as per your needs. For instance, I would simply go and add more sports. Let's say, let's go with baseball player or basketball and add them into this graph. And let's see whether something changed. So basketball, 0, basketball player, 0. So nothing happening there. But it's just the example, right? So you can imagine some other visual tags. Usually it really works well for those teams that are working with certain marketing campaigns. They are launching certain products, or they need to analyze the market, make some market research to understand what's happening with the competitors, for instance, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to enable only logos of your company or like within one brand. You can go deeper, you can create topics for the competitors. Let's say I can create a topic for I don't know, Mondelez products or Coca-Cola products, and I will be able to add them to this comparison chart as well. So there are like no limits here at all. Let's see whether we have questions at this point. If not, we will move to the second section. I see that there are no questions so far, right? Okay, cool. So then let's move on to the next step. So after, along with the visual insights, we have an ability to get even more data by launching our like exclusive offer, which is audio monitoring. Our audio monitoring is based on two platforms. It's YouTube and TikTok currently. And it works in the way that it picks up the mention of the brand or situation, whatever, like any keyword you put into the Boolean query from the whole video. But there is a certain, how can I say that? But this video should have a subtitle. So because the system analyzes the subtitles, and so once in case in the subtitles there is a brand mentioned or the situation or keyword, then the system will be able to pick it up. So as you can see on this particular screenshot, I have a video from TikTok. And this is not the description as you might usually see in your topics. This is a whole video transcription. So if the author enabled this option, if they have the transcription, that we will recognize the mention. I can see the question right away. Does the system recognize even parts of the logo with an only one image of it uploaded? Depends, I would say. So we have a pretty good range. So we can, from our side, we can set up what would be the proper word for that? Visibility range, like visibility percentage. We can either higher it to make the results extremely relevant and good, and we can lower it a little bit. And in this case, we'll be able to pick up logos like that are blurred or that are not in focus, maybe partially covered by something, but such option exists. Of course, we can't guarantee that we'll pick like 100% of such logos that are either covered or are, I don't know, like blurred or very, very far away distanced. But I would say that the coverage could be pretty good. Okay, so let's move on. Let's get back to audio monitoring. So as you can see again on the picture, once there is a script, once there is a subtitle on a YouTube video or TikTok video, we'll be able to pick it up. Let's see some examples. So once you're in a topic, and let's imagine you have this feature enabled, if you go to filters, you will be able to easily distinguish these mentions by simply clicking on the subtitles. In this particular topic, as you can see, it's more than almost 3,000 mentions. That's pretty huge, I would say, right? And then you'll be able to scroll over. And as you can see, the ChatGPT word will be highlighted. How do I understand that it's a long video, right? That it's not like a description of the video or a title. If I go here and open the mention, I'll see that it's pretty long read, which means that it's a video. And it's a video transcript. And somewhere here, ChatGPT was mentioned. And when I'm in the main feed, I can see the particular snippet, so to say, of the video where ChatGPT was mentioned. Let's find some other example. Oh, here we go. So for instance, TikTok. So if I open it up again, and if I go to TikTok, we can even prove that this video doesn't have any description at all, as you can see. So all we have in the YouScan is the transcript of the video. So here we go, and here is the ChatGPT. I think that's pretty impressive. And what's more, as you can see, the logic is the same as with the visual insights and the logo recognition. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we need the keyword to be present in a description or in the post itself. If the keyword exists in the subtitles, we'll be able to pick it up. Same with the logos. If the logo exists on the picture, but there is like no keyword in the profile, in the description or in the title, we'll still be able to pick it up. And what's more about all this like audio monitoring tool is the fact that any type of analytics that we have in a tool is applicable for these mentions as well. So once you go to analytics, you'll be able to see the sentiment distribution, the aspects, if they exist, sources, word cloud, and you can narrow down the word cloud. You can see like what exactly people are mentioning there. And it might give you a better understanding like what people are talking exactly in those mentions, because obviously we are all too busy to watch such a huge video, for instance, or such a big amount of videos. So of course you won't go and you won't do that yourself. So you need some tool that will automate this process. And this particular tool can actually be complemented with the audience insight, which is actually the next step. So let's imagine we have 2,000, almost 3,000 mentions coming from YouTube and TikTok, pretty long. So we are not gonna go through all of them. We're not gonna listen to them, right? But we need to understand like what authors are more influential than the others, like how many posts about ChatGPT they created, right? What's their subscription base, etc. For this particular purposes, we have another add-on, which is called Audience Insights. It's here. And this tool looks, in your case, usually if you don't have this add-on enabled in your account, usually you have an access to authors tab and demographics, which is pretty straightforward. But if you have the extended version, you'll also have the tab, which is called Interest, which represent actually interests of the authors and creators, and the Occupation tab, which is again pretty straightforward. It describes the occupations of certain group of authors. How do we collect this data? Let's go through this point first. So usually authors, bloggers, micro and macro bloggers, when they create accounts and they create a content, usually they have a description in their profile. And usually they either like post what they are doing or what they are interested in, and maybe some additional information. And based on this profile description info, we create these lists of authors or creators and their interest groups and occupation groups. So let's, for instance, go back to authors and how this functionality can help us on a daily basis. So let's imagine we need to find influencers that are talking about specific situation or specific area of science, I don't know, technology, whatever. So in the first line, we can distinguish certain people depending on their engagement or subscription base. So if you scroll through the engagement, you'll be able to get the list of authors that was in the subtitles, at least. Here is YouTube and TikTok, of course, that got the highest engagement. Or you can change it to readers, right? You can go through like most influential accounts, most influential creators. For instance, like certain, look at this guy, or I don't know who is that, like channel, so to say, over time, it gets like 24 million readers. That's huge, right? But what's more important, I mean, at least in terms of the brand reputation, it's the amount of mentions a certain author creates with your brand or within a certain situation. And specifically in this case, when we speak about the ChatGPT, this can give me the idea of what are the channels or who are the creators that are more oftenly writing or creating content about ChatGPT and about generally like AI and some technology. And of course, on top of that, you can apply any type of filter that we have in the system. So for instance, let's just get rid of subtitles, and let's imagine we need a list of influencers from let's say Facebook. And here we go. We have a list of Facebook pages that are somehow connected to technology, ChatGPT, and the AI in general, that they write something about this. So for instance, if I change the mention top list, I'll see some pages. I can click on any and I can dive into the mentions and see what type of mentions exactly this particular page creates. Moreover, speaking about the biggest perk, so to say, of this tool, the interest and the occupations, it might give a very unexpected insights in certain cases. For instance, when we speak about ChatGPT, we might think that people who are posting some content about it, they are probably either like people from IT or gaming industry, or generally, let's call it technology, right? But as you can see, here we have music, here we have generally business, and we have video content. So people are probably creating some video content and it's their like main hobby. Makeup, for instance, can you imagine people with the interest in makeup are also creating content about the ChatGPT? That's, in some cases, that gives really, really unexpected results. And I have an example for you. For instance, I had a chance to work with one of my very loyal clients within this interest tab one day. And they are the manufacturer of consumer electronics related with like ships, boats, sailing and stuff. And they previously thought that their main clients are male person from certain social group, etc., etc. But this specific tool gave us the unexpected results, and we identified a group of people that are mothers, and they like to fish and to sail. And it was pretty like insightful for them because they've never targeted this audience previously. And after this like small investigation with it within the interest tab, they updated their ideal client profile. And I think that was really, really successful for them. And same goes with the occupations. So in some cases, if you need to build, I don't know, like a social panel, let's imagine you need to find a certain group of students or a certain group of journalists that are writing about specific cases or a certain situation or certain brands. You can identify them using our occupations tab. For instance, let's say we want to work with marketing analysts. We want to see who are those bloggers, what they are writing, what they're doing. So here we go. We have people that are market analysts. That's pretty easy, just in one click. So, okay, let's switch to the questions. I see that we have another question in the chat. So the question is following: does the author's original post count as one mention? Yes, and that's correct. So one post is one mention, exactly. So at this point for today, that would be it. I would say let's give a few more minutes to you guys if you want to ask some additional questions. If there are no questions, then I will be waiting for you on Tuesday, May of 9th, right? We'll have a second part of the webinar where we'll talk about automations, reporting, and other tools, and of course, Insights Copilot, which is ChatGPT based AI assistant. Of course, we have recorded this webinar, so once the video will be processed, I'll send it over to everybody who registered for the webinar, so you'll have a chance to rewatch certain parts if needed. And of course, don't hesitate to contact your manager, ask for access to any tools that you think might be beneficial for you. They'll be happy to help you. And again, they'll be happy to set it up to help with the settings and help you find some relevant information and relevant insights. Okay, then that will be it. Thank you for your time and wishing you a lovely day ahead. Bye-bye.